news stories, and practice role play.
Nice. Yeah, just role plays, so have it plural. But other than that, that was perfect.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'm on. Oh, okay.
Could you just wait for a moment? I'm really need
Yeah.
to get. Yeah, wait. I'm back.
Okay. Perfect. I'm still trying to figure out why I can't. So generally, there's a series of keys that you can hit in order to change the pages, and it's not working at the moment. There it
Okay.
is. Oh, it's just alright. Weird.
Have you done it
There it
before?
is. Yeah, I got it. It was for some reason it was stuck in the sidebar. Um,
Okay.
so I just
Are
couldn't
that
find it.
Spanish?
Yeah, it's in Spanish.
Um,
Um, okay, and so yeah, can you read and answer the first question?
wait. Do you watch the news? Why or why not? I don't really like watching the news. That's because it's I am having a hard time to understand what the presenter is actually, what the newscaster is actually talking about.
Okay, I have a hard time understanding.
Okay, I have a hard time understanding what the newscaster is talking about.
Okay, and is it because they're speaking? Why do you have a hard time understanding, do you think?
I know. In my, I don't know. I don't think it's because of the English, because in my own language, I'm also having that difficulty.
Okay, odd. And so you said I don't really like watching the news?
I don't really like.
Okay. What about reading the news?
Yeah, I do it sometimes just to improve my English vocabulary.
Okay, okay. And so I guess do you prefer watching or reading the news?
I could say I prefer reading the news rather than watching, because
Okay,
by reading you can get more vocabulary.
good. And do you have a specific news source that you like to read?
Well, I like to read NY Times.
Okay, good. So New York Times. Um,
Mhm.
perfect. And what about this last question? What are some advantages or disadvantages to watching the news?
Well, watching the news is is more interactive. I think it's people don't get bored easily when they're watching something, and they have lots of videos. I mean, interesting videos, and they don't have. They can just do it when they're eating, when they're having dinner or what. When they're having when they're eating. But you can't do that when you're just reading, right? Because you are eating and you have to read. That's impossible. So I think watching the news is more relaxing. You don't need to expend a lot of energy.
Okay, and what about some advantages to reading the news?
The advantages is that you can actually know how the news is organized, how the writer arranged the paragraph, the sentences. So it might improve the way you write, and all the vocabulary are written up in there. So if you if you're having a hard time in listening, you can actually just look at that on the text and just look it up on the dictionary. You can do that. You actually can't do that when you're watching, right? Because the newscaster is speaking so fast,
Yeah.
and you will be overwhelmed if there's too much word. Did I speak too fast? I'm so sorry.
No, that was good. That was great. Your grammar sounds really awesome to listen as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Javier, welcome to class. Javier, how's it going?
Hi Joshua, going good. Thank you.
Nice.
How are you?
Doing really well. Thanks for asking. And Javier, what have you done today?
Well, I have been working. Just take a break to take the class.
Cool. Okay, good. And I guess, Javier, really quickly, do you like to watch the news?
Yes, I like it.
Okay. And yeah, do you prefer watching or reading the news?
Both of them. Both. I like to watch news on TV and read the newspaper.
Okay. So, yeah, just to make it a complete sentence, like I like both of them. I like watching the news on TV and reading it in the newspaper. Good. Okay. Let's go to the next page. And let's have Javier, can you read the title and the words?
Yes, that's a vocabulary. Correspondent, feature, breaking news, tabloid, story, journalist, editorial, and yellow journalist. Journalism.
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 Journalism. Okay. Yeah, and maybe journalist as well.
Journalist.
Journalist. Okay. And do either of you have any questions about any of these words?
Yeah. So to be honest with you, my friend just asked me the word correspondent just today, and I said I don't know.
Okay.
And this word popped up here.
Yeah, and Javi, do you know what a correspondent is?
No, I want to know what is a correspondent.
Okay, so it's just a person. If you're corresponding, it's like you're keeping in touch. Corresponding is to keep in touch. And so a foreign correspondent would generally be a journalist who keeps in touch with the news station from another place. So a journalist who, provides news stories for a news agency from another place. So it'd be like a foreign correspondent.
Okay. It's like a freelance?
It's not necessarily freelance. They could be definitely on staff. It's just, yeah, somebody who works far away.
Okay.
Yeah. So a person employed by a news agency, periodical, television network to gather, report, or contribute news, articles, and the like regularly from a distant place is
Okay.
the definition that we get online. But yeah. Really good question. Any other questions?
What is the difference between a tabloid and a newspaper?
Okay, so a tabloid is a little bit smaller, generally a little bit less serious. Like a tabloid. It's a type of newspaper, but yeah, it's like not serious, sensationalistic.
Okay, no. And they're talking a lot about the actors, the Hollywood actors, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. What
Actors.
about what about the yellow journalism?
Yellow journalism. Good question. Javi, do you know what yellow journalism is?
I think it's a journalist that exaggerates things.
Yeah. I think that's good. Um, so it's like a journalist that exaggerates things. I think we'd say newspapers that lie about things, um,
Okay.
write sensational articles. So tabloids would be like probably a good example of a type of yellow journalism because they write a lot of rumors and things like that that probably aren't true. Um, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Well,
does.
I don't know why people would like to read lies.
It's generally more interesting. It's an easy way to make something interesting too. So
Excuse
this
me?
is it's an easier way to make the news interesting.
Okay.
Just lie about it, or you make up stories. Yeah. So you don't actually have to do much work. You can just imagine the crazy things that people could be doing.
Okay.
Okay, and that's what yellow journalism is. Any other questions? Okay, and let's have Javi. Can you make a sentence using editorial?
Editorial. Mm, could you explain me what an editorial is?
Yeah. Okay, and Wilson, do you think you can explain?
Yeah, yeah. So, editorial is a newspaper article written by an editor that gives an opinion on topical issue.
Yeah. Really good. Does that make sense, Javi?
Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. And yeah, can you make a sentence using editorial?
Sure. I like to uh, follow in the newspaper editorials about finance.
Okay. Prepositional phrase. Where would we put the prepositional phrase in the newspaper? Where do they normally go?
I like to follow editorials
Yes. The rest of it?
in the newspapers about finance.
Okay. Yeah, I'd actually put it all
Okay.
the way at the end.
Okay. I like to follow editorials about finance in the newspaper. Okay.
Yeah. And so, because about finance is a prepositional phrase as well, you could, oh man, sorry. You could put it at the end, so in the newspaper about finance, but I do think it sounds better to say about finance in the newspaper because this is more relevant.
Okay.
So we're putting the more relevant prepositional phrase closer. Okay, that's good. And yeah, let's go on to the next page. And let's start with Wilson. Can you read the... welcome to class, Ken. Ken, how's it going?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well, thanks for asking. All right, and Wilson, can you read the title and try the first sentence?
Okay. Fill in the blanks plus conjugate the verb. Our foreign blah 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 to be in the Greece for the past 2 weeks covering this story. We turn to him now. Our foreign correspondent
Yep.
has been in Greece for the past 2 weeks.
Nice. Really good job. Good. Okay, and Ken, can you try the next one?
Okay. The news agency is rubbish. All day sorry. Sorry. Today's blank is about an office who to break the drug trafficking ring in New York. Officer.
Yeah.
Today's blank yellow journalist breaking news. Breaking news, I think.
Yeah.
What feature?
Yeah.
Okay.
Generally, a feature is like about somebody. Today's feature is about an officer. And how would we conjugate to break?
It's about an officer who who broke.
Good. Nice job. Okay. And what about the next one, Javier?
The news agency is rubbish. All day, uh, all day featured for the last past 10 years is
So we'd use the verb to print.
okay. All day have printed
Good.
for the past 10 years is yellow journalism.
Good. Nice. Okay. And what about the next one, Wilson?
The blah 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 with the terrorists to hold captive for the past months was released yesterday. The
Huh. Yeah, I'm kind of confused actually as well. I just made this yesterday. I could have sworn. Yeah, you could
So?
use one that we've already used.
Okay. The feature?
Not quite.
Okay. Breaking news.
It,
Oh wait,
it-
correspondent. I think it's
yeah.
gonna be correspondent.
Yeah, correspondent again.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what I did there or why I did that. Okay.
Have hold. Is it have hold? What's the past participle of hold?
So we'd want to use a progressive too.
Oh. Have been holding.
Did you? One more time, repeat that.
Wait, progressive. Is it continuous?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So you're really close. I just want to. Can you repeat it one more time? What you said?
Have been holding.
Close.
Was holding.
Yesterday.
We're holding.
It'd be the past perfect progressive.
Had been holding.
Yeah. Good. That's a tough one. Yeah, good. Really nice job. Sorry about the repeat. Ken, what about the next one?
Okay. Breaking news. The euro finally recovered, or has recovered.
Yeah, I think has recovered sounds better, but
Has
both would
recovered.
work.
Oh, what is the difference? Has recovered and just recovered?
There's not much difference. Recovered would be something in the past tense that happened. Has recovered, it kind of implies that it's still relevant. It's still something that is in the present tense. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Oh, yes.
So if we're saying it has recovered, it's still, it's still good. But if you want to just use the past tense, it recovered.
Okay.
And then, maybe it went down again. But good. Any questions on this page?
yellow journalism is equal to the tabloid?
Yeah, not everything that's written in a tabloid is yellow journalism, but yeah, generally they write the most yellow journalism. It's just false articles, lies, slander, misrepresentation, stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay. And any other questions here? Okay. And are you guys able to see that?
Yep, it's quite clear.
Okay. And let's have Javier, can you read this comic?
Cool. That's why I like your classes, because the comics.
Perfect. I'm glad. That's why I like my classes too.
You call this news. This isn't informative. This is a sound bite. This is entertainment. This is sensationalism. Fortunately, that's all I have the patience for.
Good. Sensationalism.
Sensationalism.
Patience. Patience.
Patience.
Good. And maybe fortunately.
Fortunately.
Yeah,
Fortunately.
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 Good. Nice job. Okay. And Wilson, what's this comic saying?
I think that the kids is trying to say that the gossip. I don't know what it is called actually. Like it's the show that tells about the life of the actors, what they're doing. I mean, he's trying to say that it's not informative. It's just.
I think he's talking more about the news too, in general. So I think you're good in that. You know, it could be about like the gossip shows, about celebrities and things like that. But I do think because he says this is the news, you call this the news. So he's complaining about something that is calling itself the news. So yeah, along those lines, could you explain?
Maybe the news is not really informative, telling telling the like providing useful information. Yeah, it doesn't provide useful information.
Okay. Yeah. Ken, what do you think about this and the news? Do you think it's true? You know, what about the middle section? What's he accusing the news of?
You kind of it's up to the media or what show you're watching, but in tendency the commercial media, mass media, draw the attention of people. They tend to report the things sensationally or maybe such kind of or sometimes manipulation happening. So maybe this comic is parody about these news shows or media shows.
Nice. Good. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. So yeah, kind of accusing the media of picking and choosing stories for, the ability to make them more sensationalistic, more attractive, and not really caring about the news, just wanting to get the numbers. And Javier, what's it say at the end? So if Calvin is supposed to represent people in general, what's it saying at the end?
Well, I think he says he have patience for all that information. He thinks all the information that I have receive from news are rubbish, but he looks entertainment. He sit in front of on the TV to keep it watching, to keep watching.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, so he's gonna keep watching. He is entertained, for sure. And yeah, what's that generally say about people in general? Maybe Wilson, can you explain?
Public.
Yeah, what's he trying to say about the public?
Is that in the third picture?
Yes.
Fortunately, that's I have questions for. Not sure. Really not sure.
Okay. Well, so imagine that Calvin represents just the general population, the general public. And so he's complaining the news isn't really the news in these first two. And then he sits down, watches the thing, and says, fortunately, that's all I have the patience for.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help at all? Or are you still kind of lost?
I'm still kind of lost because I don't really get it. Why did you say that's all I have for the patience for? What does that exactly mean?
Do you know what patience is?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Ken, do you think you can explain?
The kind of it, that's all I have the patience for. Maybe he's glad he can he could put up with these shows.
Okay, yeah, I think to some extent that's accurate. Generally,
Or he can learn the patience from these shows.
yeah,
Being patient.
I think part of it is that the shows don't ask for very much patience because they're just trying to entertain. They're trying to be sensationalistic. They're trying to throw something at you that that's really easy to sit down and just watch as an entertainment. And so he's complaining as the public. So imagine if Calvin represents people who watch the news and they're aware that what they watch is maybe not the best news, but they sit down and watch it anyways because it's easy to sit down and watch. Yeah, it's really simple and basic and entertaining. So it's like part of the complaining and part of the public is just completely accepting, and that's part of the why the system perpetuates the way it does, maybe. So yeah, it's a general critique of news, but also of the public.
I see. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Does that make sense to everybody as well?
Wait, is that in chronology order or it's different from pictures to pictures?
No, I think this is chronological order.
Okay.
Is there can I help you with anything else? Is there anything else? Maybe did I not explain it very well?
No, it's might take a while for me for that to sink in, but all right, just keep it going.
Okay. And Javier, do you have any questions on this page before we move on?
No, I'm clear with all the clarifying.
Okay, good. Let's do this. Javier, can you read this quotation?
Journalism is printing what someone else does not want printed. Everything else is public relations. George Orwell.
Yeah, George Orwell. And Javier, what's that mean?
I think that journalists write features things that anyone wants to feature.
I'm not sure if I understood that. Can you repeat that?
Yes, I think that journalists write things that no one's or that there to write or to feature?
Um, I'm not sure. I don't quite understand.
Okay, that journalists print uh, things that others does not dare to print.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you go on, or is that it?
Well, everything else is public relations. I think they exaggerate or do lies about things.
Okay. Um, I think it's a little bit different. Maybe Wilson, can you expand on his idea?
Um, sure. I think that what he's trying to say that news is what somebody does not want you to print, and maybe most of them they're about advertising.
Yeah.
Not sure though. It's quite hard to understand.
Yeah. It's a bit tricky. Ken, do you have any input?
Yeah, George Orwell is a writer of 1984, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I think his opinion, maybe journalism have to reveal the kind of how can I say, the fact that someone hiding, and other things could be the how can I say, propaganda or a manipulation of from the government or the big corporation kind of thing or sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty accurate. So journalism is printing what someone else does not want printed. So it's the idea that you're going into a story and you're going to reveal something that somebody is trying to hide. Either it's a bad fact or something that's incriminating. So it's just something that maybe the public should know about but don't otherwise. Everything else is public relations. Journalism that simply tells a story that somebody wants them to hear is just public relations. It's, showing the public maybe a business that they didn't know about, but the business isn't trying to hide anything. It's just, helping build the public relations between maybe a business or the government or another person and the general public. So public relations and not journalism. Do you guys understand that dichotomy, the difference between those two things? Javier, Wilson? I think you guys were pretty close, but does that make sense?
No.
Yes, I'm clear now.
Okay, Adela, welcome to class. Adela, how's it going?
Uh, yes. Hello. Hello. How
Hi.
are you today?
Okay. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? Oh, you're doing
Fine,
well.
thanks.
I'm sorry. um, man, yeah, thanks for coming in, Adela. So look at this, Wilson. Um, so if we're looking at PR, public relations, it's the practice of managing the spread of information between an individual or an organization, so business, government, nonprofit, and the public. So that's what a lot of the news does. So news often just sends information about things, really, to the public. What George Orwell is saying is that if somebody's not trying to hide what those things are, it's not journalism. Journalism is getting stories that people don't want printed, information that people are trying to hide, and showing it. That's the most important thing. And public relations is the rest of the news. It's just people kind of, you know, just sending out information. Does that
All
make
right.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And Adela, do you kind of understand this quotation as well? Adela? Okay. I've lost you, Adela. I'm not sure if your microphone's muted without your knowledge, but okay, let's go on to this page and let's read a little bit about the news. Ken, can you read this first part?
Okay, the story. There was a national election in Greece recently, and now there is a new party in power. Out with the Conservative Party, and in with the leftist Syriza Party. What does this matter again? Greece was broke, so the international community bailed it out with some strings attached. Think tax hikes and public layoffs. Enter anti-austerity party Syriza, which want to get rid of these not so popular measures.
Good. Nice job. Austerity. Austerity.
Austerity. Well, what is austerity?
Does anybody know what austerity is?
Strict.
Yeah, really strict.
Strict.
But like strict in the sense of not using much. So when we have austerity, it's like really severe but plain and using very little. Does that make sense?
It's about a budget.
It's a really tight budget if you're talking about the budget. So
Good.
it's very little spending, strict thriftiness.
Mhm.
Okay. But good, you did a really good job reading. Of course, remember, this isn't all in complete sentences, so enter austerity party, Syriza, anti-austerity party, which wouldn't be really grammatically correct, but okay, good. And Javier, can you read this next part?
The scheme. Syriza is the first anti-austerity party to take power in a Eurozone country. Some thinks it might give hope to parties like this in other countries, while others are worried that rolling back bailout conditions, something Syriza campaigned on, could threaten the economic stability of the entire Eurozone.
Yeah, Eurozone.
Eurozone.
Yeah, Eurozone. And threaten.
Threaten.
Good. Okay. Yeah, really well done. All right, and Wilson, what's this about? What's happening here?
Maybe there's a new leftist party that might take power in the Eurozone country, and maybe some people think that might bring a good thing, and some people just think that might bring a bad thing.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. That's pretty much exactly what it is. Ken, do you have any opinions on this? What do you think? Is it a good thing or a bad thing that the leftist party gained power in Greece?
I think both sides has advantage and disadvantage. Maybe not in this election, Greek people chose, they cannot put up with such kind of severe, budget cut anymore. So they chose another way. maybe to keep their normal ordinary life, and hopefully they can return to the better condition of the economy there.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, and maybe Javier, what about you? What do you think? Do you think it was a good idea, a bad idea, or are you kind of ambivalent?
Excuse me?
Sorry. So do you think it was a good idea, the leftist party? Do you think it's a bad idea? Do you think it's a good thing, bad thing? Or are you in the middle? Are you ambivalent?
Well, I think that be anti-austerity is a bad thing, knowing that Greece was broke. I think an anti-austerity party looks for spend more than the country can. So that could affect the way of life of Greecians. They don't want to learn about from the past. Obviously, they couldn't be so extreme in the spends, but they should take cares with all the spend that they are going to do.
Okay. With all the spending, they should take care with the spending.
With all the spending, yes.
Good. Okay. And welcome back, Adela. Adela, are you there?
Yes, I had technical problems with my connection, sorry.
Okay, no worries. And okay, Wilson, what about you? What do you think here?
I do think that this is might be a I'm ambivalent. Yeah, I'm ambivalent. I'm in the middle.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really tough thing, especially if you're not an economist, to have much of an opinion on, or a Grecian. But okay, good. Ambivalent, nice vocabulary. Adela, do you have any opinion on the new party in Greece?
I think it's a little utopic because I know this party your idea is to left to the euro, or maybe to not follow the bank European bank policy, etc. I think it's difficult because they are at rich, they are something we have a dependence about to follow in the European Union. In Spain, they are a party with the same ideas. I think can be a possibility to have a good results in next election, because people is a little tired to the politics, corruption on the politics and the banks, etc. It's a little utopic Paris, but I think can be a revulsive to
Revolutionary?
move. No, revulsive to move to move the water to move something in Europe, to move into the European Bank, the Bundesbank, because it's German who moves all. I think it's maybe in Spain the word is revulsivo, is to move something, to move the water, to move.
Okay, I think we probably just like change the water or uh, what is it? Yeah, so
Is
like
to move very hard, to agitar, to
yeah, change things up,
yes,
switch things up, shake things up. You could say too. It's probably the best one.
okay.
Yeah, so it can shake up the status quo.
In Spain, they are a sentence a little hard. is you you understand in Spanish? Tener un grano en el culo is something is not great. Is not not you don't happy with this. To have this party, no, inside the European Union.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of like a nice way to translate that. I know what you mean, but yeah, I think that's good. I know Spain's kind of in a similar situation too, like you said. Okay, but good. Nice job with that. And does anybody have any questions on this page?
Yeah. When you say it can shake up the status quo, I don't know what that means.
So the status quo. Does anybody know what the status quo is?
Kind of keep the same situation.
Yeah. So the status quo is the way things are right now. Um, yeah. So like the state of being as it is now, I think is pretty much what it means in Latin. And so shake it up would be to change it, to yeah, have new things in that status quo. For sure.
Right.
Does that? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go to the next page. Okay. We could try this. Or we've got another comic. Do you want to try a role play or a comic? Any opinions?
Role play.
Okay, let's do that. And so, Javier, can you read the role of the father?
The father. You think that your family should watch the news at night and discuss it? It's a good way to raise conscientious children who know who to dialogue about what is happening in the world. Convince your son to watch the news with a family.
Good. Conscientious.
Conscientious.
Yeah, conscientious.
Conscientious.
Shiss. Conscientious.
Conscientious.
Yeah, good.
Conscientious.
And what about the next one? Wilson, can you read the next role?
Right. Son, you hate watching the news with your family. You don't mind reading the news, but you think that the TV channel your father likes is too biased. You don't want to hurt his feelings, but it's annoying having to always argue against him. Find a solution without being mean.
Good. Okay. And let's start with Javier. Can you go with the role of the father? And can you start us out?
What do you want me to do? Talk about news?
So, you think that your family should watch the news at night? It's a good way to raise conscientious children and who know how to dialogue about what's happening in the world. You need to convince your son to watch the news with the family. So that's what you're trying to do. Maybe you're starting out with a conversation with your son. So how would you start out this conversation?
Okay. Well, Sam, have you do you know what's happening right now about the oil prices?
That's a good one. Okay, let's start with that. maybe do you know what's happening with the oil prices now? And Wilson, how would you answer?
Um, I don't know about that. Maybe I could check on that later.
Nice. Wilson, I don't know. About that is kind of superfluous. Would you say, no, I don't, or no, I don't know? Um, does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's better to say no, I don't know.
Yeah, you say, no, I don't know, or no, I don't. Yeah, if you say, I don't know about that, it's just not very common. We would probably almost always end it at just, I don't know.
All right.
Okay, Adela, what about the next one?
Oh, it's not better. You need to have information about the different thing. Was import our country, our life, and what do you think about, for example, another topics? You know about the politic or another?
Do you know about what?
About the other topics, political, banks, etc. Something,
Okay, do you
something.
know? Okay, right here, maybe instead of saying it's not better, that's not good.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so generally we'd use better to compare things. Um, yeah. And you need to have information about the different things that are important to our country and our life. Maybe, yeah, our lives, plural. Okay, and Ken, how would you answer that?
Yes, I don't check the TV news so often because it reports almost same thing and it's in almost same angle in every channels. So I'm collecting information on Twitter or Facebook, such kind of social media, and uh, kind of opinion or information there is much more diverse. So I prefer to collect information there than watching TV news.
Nice. Um, okay. And maybe Javier, how would you answer?
Uh, Come on, son. I don't want you to be an airhead. You should look for uh, real or accurate information for a uh, confi confiable source.
Okay, from a reliable source.
A reliable source.
Good. Nice. Really nice job. And yeah, Wilson, how would you respond?
Come on, Dad. I'm not that stupid.
I'm not that stupid.
Yeah. I know. I know which one is right and which one is wrong. Besides, I can check on that on some other official news online.
Okay. Yeah. I can check on that. I can check facts from some other official news online. Or I can check the facts. Could work as well. But good. Okay, really nicely done. So unfortunately, we are just about out of time. Does anybody have any last questions before we finish up? Okay. Well, thanks for coming in, guys. And